Hey! Oh, man, you know what? It is good to be back.
Welcome back.
How long has it been?
It's been 2, maybe even 3
I'm
weeks.
using a different microphone. Just testing out this. I'm using the same kind of microphone you're using.
It's a great mic.
It's great because I can turn my head. I can talk.
People can hear you just the same.
People can hear me just the same. Let me know what you think.
All right, we're out.
All right. That's been the, what is this? This is like the 7th episode, which I think is really the 8th, because remember the first one was just 0.9. That was your idea. But here we are. We are glad to be back.
Yes.
We've been traveling. We went to
We went to Austin.
Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. We went to Tucson to spend some time with your parents for Thanksgiving.
Yep, see my parents and see the occult bookstore.
The occult bookstore is very cool. We learned about summoning
we learned
spirits.
all kinds of things. The family trip to the occult bookstore on Black Friday.
That was good. And then somewhere along the way, we got a little sick.
Yeah.
So I have I have sniffles here, so just bear with me. I feel good though.
Yes, we're much better.
And it wasn't COVID or anything crazy. It's like allergies and what have you. We're doing well, thank you for thinking about us. Okay, so let's get into it.
Let's do it,
man. It feels so good to be back.
Yes,
and people have been missing us. They're like, hey, I need my Batcast because they listen to it while they work or they
or on the holiday trips,
trips, commutes.
Yeah,
people do commutes. Let's open up with the Electric Bat 5th anniversary bash.
Man, that was amazing.
A 3-day tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think I missed like 2 days of it.
You missed 2 days.
I was hurting. I was pretty sick.
Yeah. I held down the fort.
Yeah.
With Mark, of course, and John, Choppel, and Chewy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your help. Thank you for the 100 people who attended.
Yes.
From all over the place.
As far as Alaska?
We had people from Alaska.
Minnesota,
lots of California folks.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I want to thank. We both want. It's not just me thanking. You want to thank too, Amy and Matt.
Oh yes,
from Aimless Pinball. They came out here.
And little Nico and Peter Parker, the dogs.
Oh, their dogs are so sweet. They lived in our office for a little bit.
Yes.
They had beds underneath the pinball machines in the workshop, and that was great. And it seemed like they were used to pinball machines.
Yeah,
it
didn't bother them.
Yeah, it was like old hat.
Yeah.
To the puppies, but they brought in a bunch of equipment. And they streamed the entire event. You can go watch the VOD on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/aimlesspinball.
Mm-hmm.
And be sure to follow those folks.
They did a great job.
They did a fantastic job. They did a lot of hard work and brought in a bunch of expensive equipment to pull this off. So go follow them, Aimless Pinball on Twitch, and sub. Hook those guys up because I think it's
free with an Amazon Prime.
Right. If you have Amazon Prime, which almost everybody does, right? We're connected to the machine.
Yeah.
We got to keep this thing running. Yeah. The United States and what have you.
Keep United
stuff.
States
Everybody keep
running.
buying stuff. It's easy. They ship it right to your house. You don't have to go to Walmart anymore.
You thought the Stern was a big sponsorship. Wait till your Bezos call.
Yeah. Right. So if you have an Amazon Prime account, you tie it to your Twitch account, and you could sub to each month. You can subscribe.
You can subscribe.
You can subscribe.
Sub could mean many different things.
Oh yeah, subscribe. That's very important. Thank you for that correction. I don't want anybody to get confused. It's very important.
But what type of sub they are?
But you really need to go back and watch this stream. At least the finals.
Yes.
Which is, there are 3 streams. One's 13 hours. 13 hours of pinball. But the last day, I think it was about like 6 hours. The stream is like 6 hours. And it goes into the finals when the big dogs are going at it and fighting. And what an incredible match. I think at the end, you had Walt Wood.
Yes.
You had
Greg Davis.
Mm-hmm. local pinball champ, Roland was in that group, the Final Four. I think Roland was in that. Correct?
Roland was in that.
And then Leslie
Ruckman, El Rucco.
El Rucco.
Woo.
They all absolutely brought it. I don't want to ruin the surprise if you don't know what's up. Go watch the stream. Those four cats just fight it out, and they all absolutely brought it. Anybody could have won that thing, and it very exciting. I wish I could give away. I want to say who won and everything, but I if anybody hasn't watched it, or I guess seen our social media or anything, go check it out. Aimless Pinball at Twitch. Also, this has nothing to do with the Electric Bat 5-year anniversary bash.
Okay.
But after that, and it was actually, I think he came after one of our tournaments on Tuesday, so we weren't there. We always take the day after tournaments off. The tournament director from Lit Pinball Bar, that's in Minneapolis, right?
It's in Minnesota, I think. Minneapolis.
Okay. And they built a great brand new place. They brought us a bunch of cool swag.
They did.
Man, they spent some money on some
That's
merch.
some cool stuff.
Very cool stuff. Coin pouches. We got some cool hats. We want to do the coin pouches. I need to ask them where they got those made.
Yeah, so we were looking at doing a different style, but now I'm kind of thinking that theirs look like tiny little money bags that you take to the bank. Mm-hmm. I like those.
Yeah,
so
very cool. Thank you so much for the merch. And our bartenders loved the can openers.
They're bottle openers.
Bottle openers. Yeah. They really got it. But you can use the other side. The other side's for the can. The pop top.
Yeah.
So we're both correct. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for all that. And let's go ahead and knock out our sponsors. Marco Specialties, Everything Pinball.
I want to talk a little bit about Marco and what we want to get from Marco because of something a listener sent us.
Well, I'm excited about this. Let me hear it.
We were thinking about getting these anyway, we being me, because you and I both spend a lot of time under machines, turtling machines, getting under them and physically pushing them up with our backs, our old, aging backs. Yeah. There's a thing called a pin jack, and Scott Solomon, our wonderful listener, Scott Solomon, said, "Hey guys, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. You should be using this pin jack." And it was already something I was on the fence about.
Right.
You can get them at Marco Specialties. So later this week, I'm going to put in our weekly Marco order, and I will be ordering some pin jacks. We need those. Cool. This last time when I was trying to level Free Fall, one of the biggest games in the arcade, maybe the biggest game in the arcade. That's enough of this. So thank you, Scott. And thank you, Marco Specialties, for your sponsorship where you can get everything pinball, including a pin jack, which you squeeze little...
I was about to ask you about this. They didn't sell them when we were working there. So I've never used one.
Right.
But from the photos I've seen, it looks like a cock gun. You know what I'm saying? Like it ratchets. You know what I'm talking about?
It's a ratcheting mechanism that lifts the leg or legs. I'm going to get 2 of them, and then you can just screw or unscrew the leg levelers. Marco Part LL2, LL3. If you need the 2-inch or the 3-inch.
Yeah, they don't have the 4-inch.
No, they don't have the 4-inch.
We have to find those someplace else. But most people don't ever need a 4-inch.
No.
I mean, that's like an in-disc and serious tournament.
It's just to be mean. Yeah. Really just to be mean.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Marco Specialties. Thank you, listener Scott. And thank you soon in the future, Pin Jack.
And we'll tell you, once we get the pin jack, we're going to tell you all about it.
We'll give you the
might
reviews.
even do like a little video of me under the machine doing stuff. I can't wait to see how this thing works. Yeah. And then thank you to Game Room Goodies. That's where we get all of our machines. If you need anything for your game room, check out Game Room Goodies, GameRoomGoodies.com. They have more than just pinball. They literally have everything for your game room, from jukeboxes to
they could probably even get you
not ice hockey,
the crazy
air
carpets.
Hockey.
They could probably get you some kind of ice hockey.
The crazy like movie theater carpet.
You know, like the black light stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they carry it, but I'm sure they can get it.
They can find it. And then last but of course not least, Stern Insider Connected. Thank you for your continued support. They sent us a Mandalorian topper, which is super cool. And the best part, I mean, this thing, I mean, it's glowing. It has a hologram.
I mean, everybody has seen it, right? If you're listening to a pinball podcast, you're familiar with the Mandalorian topper.
100%. The best part is, not only does it look so cool, it has gotten some people like back into Mando. People are revisiting Mando to check out the topper,
see what it does, watch the Beskar go up and down.
Yep, and it is very cool. Thank you so much for that.
I didn't know you could change the color settings on that until you showed me the other day.
And I bet a lot of people don't. If you do have the Mandalorian topper, by default it comes with like a blue light. But if you go into the settings, I think there's like 3 or 4 like presets.
You chose sunset?
I chose sunset, which is very cool. One of the guys from like Lynn's Arcade suggested that. And
sunset on Hoth.
Sunset, man,
Tatooine.
It looks very cool, and I think it like fits more with the machine. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But it looks cool.
Yeah.
Like the sunset on Tatooine.
Yes.
That's the kind of feel I get.
Yeah.
Also, with Insider Connected, of course, you have leaderboards. People love the leaderboards. Every time people come into the bar, the arcade, they look at the leaderboards,
including myself.
Yeah, and you're like, which one can I get on? Oh, Ty beat me. Now I have to beat him. Also, check out, and they just talked about this on their. They did posts on social media about this time-sensitive quests.
Yes.
You got a couple of weeks. You maybe have a month to get all kinds of cool badges. This gets people into the bar to play a bunch more pinball to try to get these. People love collecting things.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is. Even this is a digital version of your baseball cards or Pogs or whatever people used to do.
Yeah, digital Pogs.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for here. But there's stuff like on Elvira, House of Horrors. You can get the one on Christmas. There's
Correct.
Just single day ones, and then there's the ones that they're putting out, right? Like that whole Foo Fighters.
I think
tour.
That's right, and I think that's completed now.
Yeah.
And the new ones they have a cool one for Bond where I think you can collect all the villains.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, I just before we recorded, I saw one of their posts, and that's very cool. Another important part for operators. For the Insider Connected, you can remotely check tech alerts, and we use this.
We do use this, especially up for Flagstaff, because we have games that are 2.5 hours away, and if we don't need to make a 2.5 hour drive, then to go and see, hey, I wonder if everything's working,
right? Or
call up there and hope that a bartender can tell you. This makes it. That is so much nicer.
And especially if you're an operator who doesn't have an arcade, who's operating pinball machines.
Oh, like in somebody else's bar or pizza.
Right.
Kale's Pizzeria.
Kale's Pizzeria.
Kale's Pizza Palace.
That's what it is. Kale's Pizza Palace. And it would be called that.
Yeah.
Kale's Pizza Palace. You can you have 3 or 4 locations with a couple of machines here and there. Man, this is a must.
Yeah.
You can know if got to go check this EOS switch. And now with, they just released the Stern Insider app, which you can find on the Apple App Store. Is it an Apple App Store or Mac App Store? It's probably Apple. And then also in the Android Store. So you can just have that shortcut right
People
on your
really
phone.
wanted that, didn't they?
Yes. And I'm excited about this because this allows, whenever they implement it, push notifications. So we could get a push notification,
Kale just beat me.
Well, that, but also for operators, hey.
Oh, yeah. This is broken.
This just broke. Boom. And that, man, that really, said, okay, man, we need to go check this out. It really puts it in the front of the mind. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
Well, that was a nice little list of things.
Yep, I'm done with my paper notes. I am
moving to the electronic notes.
I'm moving on to my electronic notes and see what we have going on here. We talked about the pin jack at Marco Specialties. Here we have a question from Chewy. I think it's from the Discord.
Okay.
Do you mind opening up with that?
No, let's let's open up with Chewy.
Let's open up with Chewy. Chewy is our close personal friend and helps us out at the arcade.
All around fantastic human being.
He's a jack of all trades.
And
he really is.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. Here's his question. Chewy operates all of our Japanese rhythm games. But he does so much more to help us out. But that's his main gig at the arcade. And man,
and his world famous Bounty Knockout tournament. Let's
True.
run over who that was this last weekend. We had Chewy's world famous Bounty Knockout tournament.
Here we go.
We don't need to mention all of the top 3, but let's just, is there anyone who got first, second, or third that comes to mind to you, would you say?
You got third.
I got third.
You were hanging with the big dogs.
Woo.
You were
call me-
big dog, but you were little dog.
Yeah.
Right?
But you can call me Big Dog Best now.
You big dog best. You were hanging with the big dogs. It was Mark. Everybody knows Mark. I mean, what
Mark the Shark.
Mark the Shark Pearson, and then you have Greg.
Greg Davis.
Greg has been absolutely bringing it.
He has been playing better and better and better.
Well, I think when I first moved here, you said he was one of the best guys in the nation.
Yes, he's great.
And he's showing it.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. Good, you did a fantastic job. I'm glad you
Thank you.
brought that up.
Thank you for bringing that up. I knew that you'd want to compliment me publicly on my superior performance.
At Chewy's world famous.
Yes. Okay, what's his question?
I was wondering where that noise was coming from.
Is it you?
I bet they're like, why is he looking at her all weird?
Yeah, why is he poking on all of her stuff?
It's something for me. I don't know if something's loose or anything, but we're good.
Okay.
We'll fix it in post.
Okay.
Are you doing
Now I'm
something?
going to hold still.
Okay, on with the show. Thank you for we don't edit any of this
Yeah,
stuff.
so-
Can you hear it? I heard it during the last episode.
No,
It's
I
like
can't.
when you're moving, you chord. See that?
Okay,
Yeah.
you're making for some great radio here.
First question. What are the top 3 things you find is the root cause of coin jams? Oh, we have to come up with 3 things.
Well, one of them is Canadian quarters, because Canadian quarters get stuck in the magnet and then they back up everything that comes in after them.
So are there Canadian mechs?
There must be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Canadian friends, let us know how that works. And if you're close to the border, how does that work? If you're operating close to Canada, are your mechs getting jammed all the time? Do you just take the little magnet piece out? How does that work? A lot of people, especially maybe later on in the evening, more and more drinks in, try and just like jam in all the tokens at once instead of like 1, 2, 3. They try and push in. I mean, just not being patient.
And this is important there are a lot of players that listen to this.
Yeah.
If you put, I'm going to say, like if you put 2 tokens in and they don't register, just stop. Because I'm not bullshitting.
Yes.
We have found like $8 worth of tokens in mechs because
People just, like, push it in.
Like they think if they keep jamming them in, and this goes. And I know there are operators listening right now. Go, thank you for saying something about this. Yeah. So,
and it's not easy to unjam them. You have to take things apart sometimes if it gets real bad.
Yeah.
And we've also seen some things that I can only assume are from a younger group where people will try and put in 2 dimes and a nickel.
Yes.
That doesn't
Which
jam the machine.
Makes perfect sense math-wise.
Yeah, they got the right amount.
And it would be interesting if it worked like that, huh?
Maybe there are some old
Like
types.
rolled up dollar bill. in there.
Yeah, just like.
He wants 3 things.
Well, that was 3, but
Oh, that was 3. Jamming them.
yeah, I mean, I think the
Foreign money.
number one cause of coin jams is people like trying to put in basically two at the same time. And I don't mean necessarily two side by side or three side by side like an Oreo cookie, but like kind of one overlapping the tail end of the other one. And they just,
Yes.
you know, the little chute, if you've never opened this up, is only so wide, and it's not wide enough to accommodate multiple. So, yes.
You are correct. Side note on this, players tell your friends on some of the classic machines, when you drop a coin in, it may not like chime or let you know you dropped something in until you drop 2 or 3, whether it's 50 cents or 75 cents. And then it will go, yeah, it would say, oh, you have a credit. You have a full credit. So that'll throw people off sometimes.
And on some WPC, some 90s games even, it's just an audio cue. But if you're in a loud bar or there's music playing and you can't hear that little, I'm thinking of Creature from the Black Lagoon that has the girl going,
right.
Then if you can't hear that, then you think that you have not gotten credit for any of your tokens or quarters.
Correct.
And then you go up and say it ate my money.
Right.
Which it didn't.
And along the same vein, be sure you press the start button to start your game. She's laughing, but people do this
all the time.
We
all the time.
We get, hey, I just put $3 in this machine, and it's not.
And it took my money.
It took my money, and we go to the machine, and it has like 6 credits in there, and we're like, all you have to do is hit the start
just
button.
hit this little button.
Right. Yeah. So please pass the word. Don't use Canadian quarters.
Don't use Canadian quarters. Put tokens in one at a time.
We did get 100 yen, which I think we made a profit on that.
Yeah, all we have to do is get to Japan.
So, no foreign money. Hit the start button, and don't just keep feeding tokens or quarters in the machine anywhere, not just our arcade.
If you have to like push it in, like to try and force it,
put your foot on it.
Spoiler, you're not getting credit for that.
Okay. Thank you, Chewy.
What's next?
I think we covered all of Chewy's stuff. Here we go. Hugh Jorgen. Hugh Jorgen. You thought it was going to be like a joke name, huh? Is that
like Hugh Jorgen?
Is Hugh Jorgen?
Yeah.
Oh, he got me.
He got you. It is a joke name.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a question from Hugh Jorgen. I love this pinball.
Oh, boy.
This is how we are. Hey, guys. Love the Batcast. Got a question about tournaments. We have a reasonably small pinball community, but slowly building. Good job. We have probably a 50-50 combo of players that like the competitive points play and just like to flip for fun. What sort of tournament do you find best to keep both sides happy? If we had bigger numbers, we could cater differently formats for each, but not quite there just yet. This is a really great question, and you did things differently. Like I only know about competitive play IFPA sanctioned from when you got me in, first playing competitively in South Carolina. We never played any just for fun tournaments. And I didn't even realize until pretty recently when I talked to Lit Pinball Bar, they actually separated. They have 2 tournaments, sometimes on the same day, where they have your hardcore competitive players playing in IFPA sanctioned tournaments for Whopper points
and money.
And money, and then they have the rec league,
right?
And they had to do this, and I've heard this from, it's not just them, from plenty places. Lots of times the hardcore competitive players do not want to play with casuals. You don't run your arcade like that.
Everybody plays together.
Everybody, and it's been working, and it's made the casuals so much better. It's almost scary.
Yeah. We have people who I would have considered very casual players a year ago now making finals regularly.
Right. But before we get into it, your opinion of the whole thing, just so everybody's on the same page, I think because there are some operators who probably don't even know about the IFPA and understand what these sanctioned tournaments mean or how to do them.
Yeah.
So just surface level, you have to, if you want to do a tournament, you have to submit it. Is it 30 days in advance to the IFPA?
It has to be on the schedule 30 days in advance. So yes, 30 days ahead of time, you go to IFPA Pinball. And, I often, I will submit all of Chewy's bounty tournaments for the whole year at the beginning of the year. Okay. So there's no, you don't have to do it 30 days specifically in advance. Just that's the cutoff. Get it on the calendar. You tell them your format. It asks you some questions. You may need to Google some stuff.
Do some research. Do your due diligence. Because there are many. We're not going to get into that right now, but there are many formats. Many styles. You find you're the main body of your tournament, and then finals, and then you try to maximize points. We're not going to get into the weeds with all that.
No. Just get it on the IFPA calendar. People want to play for points.
Right, and the points are called Whopper points. So if you ever hear anybody talk about Whopper points, that's what the competitive players care about. So to answer his question, how do you deal with that?
Well, I think.
Well, I guess we know how you deal with it. You don't do rec leagues.
I don't switch up, and because I feel pretty strongly against it, because everybody, the difference between, okay, I should back up. If you're playing for a $20 entry fee, I certainly can sympathize with new players not wanting to pay $20 to lose it to every time to some other players.
But that's a good point, because you've always been about lowering the barrier to entry.
Always. This 5-year anniversary tournament, $30.
Yeah. And usually big tournaments like that are going to cost you
many hundreds.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was, yes. So I think lower the barrier to entry. I think teach new players the basics of tournament play, meaning if you have extra balls on, you can't play them. And that's just for us, to keep it. That's not an official rule. Don't play out a turn. Don't play other people's balls. Just some very basic pinball etiquette.
So you're basically telling people, don't have rec leagues. Let's all have...
Everybody should have a great time together.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And if your attitude is such that you can't accommodate somebody learning to play pinball, I think the problem is with you. Right? I mean, be open. You want more people in this hobby. You want to make friends. Everybody should have a great time getting to know all kinds of different players. I think that's right. That's my opinion about the best way to do it.
And you have proven it. You've turned. I've seen you turn casuals into incredible players that make state finals.
And we have a very large league of really cool, crazy different types of people.
The largest single location league in the world, actually. So you've done. So your philosophy obviously works.
There's some pudding there.
I have to stop because I know you didn't want me to mention this because you thought it was gauche, but I thought it was very exciting. While we were in Austin, a couple stopped us on the street, and she thought it was I was bragging too much, but I think it's important that a couple stopped us and it's like, are you guys Electric Bat? We're like, yeah. We were like caught off guard. We're in a crowd in Austin, and the reason I did want to mention this because and Jason and I talked about this on the latest Pinball Party podcast, which was released yesterday. Go check that thing out. It just shows the growth of pinball. Like, who stops arcade owners?
That's true. It's very weird.
1,500 miles away from home. I'm bullish on this market. I think it's great. There are more
people growing, and the more accommodating you can be, the more it's going to continue to grow.
Right. There are more pinball manufacturers than ever.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. Who would have thought we would be here? But here we are.
Here we are.
But now so you're saying just don't even do the rec leagues. Like, teach the casual players the etiquette and make them be a part of this wonderful thing that's going on.
Yeah, and if you're a great player, help a casual player get over that hump, that initial hump between when you think pinball is fun and your objective is to stop it from going in between the flippers, to that point where you learn that there is strategy involved and that you can really kind of start to aim the ball. And just once you reach that point, then they'll be very interested in practicing on their own, and they'll get better, and they're going to make you a better player. We have found that.
I was about to. This is very important. As an operator, you want people playing these machines. We've seen casuals who become competitive players. Then they start caring about Whopper points, so they come in and practice more.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for all of this stuff, and you've thought about it.
Yeah, as an operator and as a player, you want that.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Jorgen. Hugh
Mr.
Jorgen.
Hugh Jorgen.
Hugh Jorgen and his.
Gail would love to meet you.
Was that? That was from Discord, right?
I'm not even sure. I think so.
I think it is from
Yeah,
Discord.
I think it was a Discord
and
name.
if you want to be a part of it, join our Discord. If you go to our website, go to the podcast tab. There is a link where you can join our Discord. Also, a lot of help with
IFPA.
running tournaments. There's an IFPA Discord, which is absolutely great. Wonderful discussion about running tournaments, and you can ask them question. And there's like
very granular nuts and bolts type stuff.
right. So if you have not run a tournament, I would look at that for a few weeks before you decide to do it and ask them questions, because I mean there are like what, I don't know, 50 to 100 people that would jump in and answer, and they're all very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are going to get into another question from the mailbag. I didn't even read this one yet. This is interesting.
Okay.
About the James Bond?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you must have put this in here.
Well,
I have a question for your next episode on the Batcast, and this is the next
Okay.
episode.
We're there.
I have a James Bond premium, and recently my right flipper started sticking. Upon further inspection, I found the coil stop to be shot. I then inspected the rest, and they need to be changed as well. I have heard this seems to be a common problem with Stearns in recent years. Any recommendations on good quality stops, and how often do you change your stops? You must order boxes of them. Yes, we do.
Yes.
I know
Yes,
exactly what to do. Order your coil stops from Marco Specialties. They use a different manufacturer, and they are rock solid. Just order. I don't know how many machines you have. If this is your only machine, those are 3 flippers. Oh, is it a premium? Yes. So he has.
Just get a couple. Get some.
I don't mean but there's a flipper mech on that diverter, so it must have a coil stop. So get 4.
Sure. And how often do we replace them? We replace them if there are lower, a pair of lower flippers, regardless if it's a 2 flipper, 3 flipper, 4 flipper game. The 2 that are together at the bottom, we like to replace those at the same time, because when things start mushrooming and condensing or whatever, you want your 2 flippers to be equal, right? You don't want, whenever you flip the game, you don't want one flipper to go up higher than the other. You don't want one to feel kind of mushy, so we rebuild flippers in pairs.
Yeah.
And usually the thing that makes us rebuild them, sometimes it'll be something feeling funny and stiff, but a lot of times the weak link is the link.
And it might
plastic
not,
link.
and it might not be a full flipper rebuild. I mean, once you get enough experience, you can tell which parts need to be
right. But
rebuilt.
often we do the plunger and link, the coil stop, and the coil sleeve.
Coil sleeve, right?
That's
springs last for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was a question from Heavy Metal Poet.
Oh.
Yeah. Jorgen.
Hugh Jorgensen.
This is from, it looks like Facebook. You did like a screen grab from Chris Kotek.
Okay.
For the next earnings report, how do arcades stack up to pinball? We don't have to wait for the next earnings.
No, I can talk about that now.
You know.
Not even close. They are not even close. The one game that is close is the Alien shooter game, the big shooter. That does as well as a well-earning pinball machine.
Yeah.
The rhythm games, the Japanese rhythm games, some of those do like a mid-earning pinball machine. All of the classics, I guess Miss Pac-Man Galaga does as well as a mid-level pinball machine. Anything else, like not even on the radar. Well below even a poor earning pinball machine.
Right. And what we've noticed, the highest earning video games are your shooters, which are anything that you just grab a gun and shoot
point
at the screen, and drivers,
Yeah.
sit down drivers. But
We don't have any right now.
yeah, they take up a lot of space.
We don't like fixing them. Don't like moving them.
Yeah, we like pinball. Great question.
Yeah.
They don't stack up.
They not at all. So
Now, in a different venue, would they? Is it
I
because
have
we're more
talked to a
pinball
lot
centric?
of no. Any operator that can tell me otherwise, please do. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
Aside from the classics, But when I say classics, I don't even mean Donkey Kong. I mean like Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Donkey Kong,
Centipede,
and Joust,
maybe?
Centipede. Those still are a tier below. Those don't earn as well as you think. We have a Q*bert up in Flagstaff, for example. Q*berts right now, I think, are going for thousands of dollars. They're not
Really?
even. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to sell that thing.
I think. Well, it would make much better financial sense. Like we could barely buy a dinner off what that thing earns.
Oh wow!
I mean, it just doesn't earn. There's a couple of people that like to come in and play it.
So now collectors want a Q*bert.
Q*bert has always been a pretty collectible game. It's a Gottlieb, and it has a knocker in it.
It
A
does,
pinball knocker.
which you're a big fan of.
I hate knockers.
You hate knockers. You hate the Ghostbusters scream.
No, I like the
you like the
Ghostbusters.
scream?
It's funny.
And what about the
bell?
The bell on fire.
The bell on fire is the worst.
Bally Fire, right? Is that Bally or Williams?
I don't know.
I can't remember that.
But that is the single worst introduction of any hardware into pinball.
You can clip the wires if you if we ever get one. Yeah.
It's the worst.
Thanks, Chris. I think you answered Mr. Kotek's question. Thank you for the question. And this is from our boy Keegan. Keegan Crandall, local player and huge supporter of pinball. Great guy. I think he's even like he's trying to build his own machine.
He's doing something.
We've hooked him up with a few parts.
I don't know if he's
here.
building a pinball machine or a time machine, but he's got something going on.
He needs to build. I think I've told people this. I want to build a machine. We need a stall ball machine.
Yeah.
It would be simpler to design. You just need a few stops, a few scoops, and then it shoots the ball back at you.
You don't have to deal with scoring.
Don't have to deal with scoring, and we have some programmers that could figure all that stuff out at the bat. He's got a few questions. This is good.
Okay.
Hey guys, got some questions for the next podcast. His enthusiasm, you can feel it in his sentences. I love it. What other arcades do you guys visit?
My favorite arcades are Logan and Wedgehead.
Yeah, I've never been to Wedgehead, and I'm glad you brought up Wedgehead. They have a cool new podcast.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I heard one episode of it.
I've been listening to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's another fun podcast. Go check out those. They've been very active. I think they drop a podcast like every week. And it's very cool because it is from an operator's perspective, but they also talk about pinball history. They talk about designers. They have
they're very knowledgeable. It sounds like
very knowledgeable. They go into whole episodes about pinball designers. So it's cool. Check out. I think it's called the Wedgehead Pinball Podcast. Search it on your favorite app. But I have not been to the arcade. I've seen photos and videos. It looks amazing. You've been.
Yeah. Yes. And I think the reason I like those two the most, and those are the ones that we've been to. There's of course tons that we haven't been to. Those feel the most like the Bat to me. They're just like my style of. They just have the same sort of feel as. So I feel like they're like sister arcades to us.
Yeah, those are great. The one arcade that I always looked forward to visiting, and I might get a little choked up. the Pinball Museum in Banning.
Oh, well,
That was hands down
that
my
was very
favorite arcade. And I don't think there will never be anything like that again.
Well, they're trying to build that past times into something.
That would be cool. But if you didn't get a chance to go to the Pinball Museum in Banning, it was only opened 3 times a year.
Yeah.
But it literally had every machine that was ever created. There were a few that they didn't have, few very rare titles, but not only pinball but arcade games also.
There was, I think, 1,200 machines between pinball and arcade games.
Yes.
And it was very, very cool. They threw a party for us when we got married.
Yes, John Weeks had somebody make a pinball cake. I'll have to find photos of this thing. It was crazy. We had a gigantic cake shaped like a pinball machine.
It was like mostly fondant, I think.
It said like Stern, Bally, and it was
the person that made it, I think, didn't like. Oh, this is
didn't do it professionally,
right?
But that's what made it so good.
Yes, it was made with love.
The head of the cake machine was
a giant Rice Krispie treat.
It was the biggest Rice Krispie treat,
covered in fondant.
And at the end of the night, we're running around the arcade with a giant block of fondant and Rice Krispie treat and eating this thing. Thank you so much, John Weeks, for doing that for us. He's the sweetest guy.
Now it's a pot farm.
Yep. Congratulations to that also. Here's another question from Keegan. Do we have any machines at home? Not anymore.
Nope. We pulled every single pinball machine from our house because we basically live at the arcade anyway. If we're here, we're probably not playing pinball.
Yeah.
What do we have there instead?
Oh, we have a cold plunge. We moved 3 machines, Adam's Family, Roller Games, and what else did we have? There was a Fishtails, but that was moved. And
don't even remember.
Yeah.
It's all there now.
We put in a cold plunge, which I love. And when we had machines here, we just really didn't play them.
We played roller games. A good bit,
but not as much as you would think we would.
I mean, if you spend 12 hours at an arcade, you don't tend to come home and play more pinball.
So no machines at home. Next question: if GTF, Galactic Tank Force, isn't working, and it's not.
Spoiler, not working.
If you could trade GTF for anything straight up, what would it be? Cash. We would like cash.
I would take a machine that works.
Yeah, unfortunately, Galactic Tank Force does not work. We've pulled it off the floor, and
it's not.
Yeah,
that is a very sad story because that is a beautiful machine. We would love it to work.
Yeah.
They did. David Fix did call me and
apologize. But that's about as far as it went.
He offered a lot of help to make it work, but then none of that came, and it's been 3 weeks or so since he said that. And
I don't really think they know how, or they're struggling.
Yeah. So we wish that it worked.
Yeah, it does.
Franchi, you did a beautiful job. It's not on you.
Job. Yeah. But I would steer, if you are an operator, I'd probably steer clear of the Galactic Tank Force. But if you're a gambling person, try it out. Next question: thoughts on Pinball Brothers and the Alien Machine?
You talked about this with Pinball Party Jason.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. We did see the new, I would say new machine, but it's really just new artwork at Expo. where they're adding Sigourney Weaver. They finally got the proper licensing. Well, I say they got the proper licensing, but the artwork we saw
said contingent on license or approval or something like that.
They got to send a couple of emails and sign some stuff. And I think the machine's fun. I think it looks cool. But everyone we've played has not been 100%. Katie and Olivia have one, and like every time you start out with points. I mean, that's not a complete deal breaker, but you know, when you're playing tournaments, it's sometimes confusing if people are like, what do we do? We're getting points here. You know, some old Bally machines would do that every once in a while. You have a malfunction with a switch, but this is a brand new machine. Really shouldn't be doing that. And they are extremely knowledgeable people.
That's what I was going to say.
They haven't been able to fix it.
If Katie and Olivia
they build pinball machines from scratch.
They're some of the most qualified pinball tech people out there.
Right.
And this is just in their home, so it's not getting beat up on the streets. The ones that I've seen in public, rarely.
There was one at Starfighters, and Kevin was struggling to keep that thing running. So I think it's a beautiful machine.
Yeah.
I don't really know a whole lot about the company.
It might be cool for your house, but I wouldn't operate it. Yeah, I'm not going to operate it. And it's a great theme, and it looks cool.
Yep. And then he's thanking us for everything we do. On top of having the best arcade ever and podcast ever, warm regards. Keegan Crandall, a.k.a. Kegels. Love Kegels.
Yeah.
Kegels.
Yep.
Kegels. Yeah.
Thank you, Keegan.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Now we have Baloney Joe. Is that Baloney Joe? Is that what that says?
That says Baloney Joe.
Baloney Joe.
You got Hugh Jorgen and Baloney Joe.
Hanging out together.
Hanging out together.
Oh, pinball.
Well played.
He has a question for the podcast, which he loves, by the way. What's up with all the banana stuff? So if you are on our Discord, there's a lot of banana talk, and that's meaning a literal banana. That has
like
nothing
fruit.
to do with pinball. If I recall,
or Hugh Jorgen's.
Yeah. Baloney Joe. If I recall correctly, this all started with Roland.
I believe it.
Roland is always eating bananas, which is great. You should eat banana. Fruit is so important.
Potassium,
fiber, all that good stuff.
It's very portable. Comes in its own packaging.
It is the perfect fruit.
Right.
The only thing it's missing is protein. You got to have some protein. Yeah, supplement some protein. You can't
peanut butter.
You can't just eat. Oh, yes, on an English muffin, toasted English muffin, little almond butter.
Excuse me.
You know almonds.
The Almond Brothers.
No, that makes the butter. So anyway, you put your bananas on there, then you have some protein and fiber and all that good stuff. Okay.
But it really was just an innocent.
Yeah.
Eating bananas. But you know what's funny is in the bells and chimes, in the bells and chimes,
they have a giant banana.
The thing that you sign if you win, and has been for years, has been Antonio, the 3-foot banana. So it's not. There's something in the air that.
But I think everybody loves bananas.
There's banana flippers.
I think it's deeper than we think.
Yes.
But the discussion started on our Discord, where Roland posted a photo of a banana, and he likes them pretty ripe.
He likes them like I like them,
with brown dots all
Not
over.
Not a lot of brown dots, but
right. And I came in and I said, "That's gross. I like mine hard and tangy."
Yeah, you like yours.
Just a little green.
You like yours about 2 days before I like mine.
Yeah, right. And then that opened a discussion, and everybody started talking about bananas. And then when you leave a little emote on Discord, there's a banana. So people would, hey, give you, instead of a thumbs up, you get a banana. That's all. It came from a discussion about how ripe do you like your banana.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you, Baloney Joe. And here we have our favorite Gutterghoul.
Oh, Gutterghoul.
A local favorite, a great player.
Friend of the people.
Questions. Are there any hard lines when it comes to customer placating? As in, things that customers request regularly that you know are either unprofitable, unfeasible, or just unreasonable. I'm sorry, was I shaking too much?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a little thing going on. Also, to follow up, what has been super successful for curating happy clientele? I don't know.
You know what? I honestly don't think about it too much. Is that a terrible thing to say?
Well, recently one of our players came up to us. It was like, "Hey guys, I just have a one comment. Could we get some more seating in here?"
Oh yeah, very politely.
Yeah, and we looked around like, you know what? It probably would be better with some more seating, but we're not going to address it until we do the construction, because we're going to put in a new bar and some bathrooms, and then I think from there, once we see how much room we have to work with,
Right.
that's when we're going to bring in some seating. Because right now we just have 4 high tops. Isn't that what you call those?
Yes, with seats around them,
with
and then
stools.
some stools at the little tiki bar. And we have always thought that whenever we were expanded, we had thought about more seating. We just didn't anticipate all of this back and forth with the city we didn't think it was going to take a year for them to get us back our plans anyway. So yeah, that was something. And that's something that of course I would consider. I guess I was thinking about in terms of games or something. Like sometimes people ask us to move games around. They want all of the classics in one room, all of the moderns together. And that I very intentionally don't do. One, because it makes tournaments very crowded, because we alternate, classic rounds with modern rounds, and you want those games all spread out. But also because I want somebody who thinks that they like one thing to maybe be playing next to somebody playing something different, and it to catch their eye and be like, oh, you know what?
Sure.
That game I thought that I didn't want to play, it turns out I do want to play. That's the request that we get most probably commonly that I don't do. But I always tell people why also.
We have had people request certain games, and we have delivered. Of course, it's hard to always deliver on that, because you got to find a game and all this stuff. But
it's many thousands of dollars.
Sure. I remember when Roland first moved here, he talked about how much he liked Walking Dead. Mark happened to have a Walking Dead because we sent one up to Flagstaff, and so he brought
right.
He brought another one in. So we surprised Roland with, "You like Grateful Dead? Here's
Grateful Dead."
Did I say Grateful
Yes.
Dead?
I don't know that you like Grateful Dead. You like Grateful Dead? We built this machine for you.
That would be a cool game, huh?
No,
I want a Grateful Dead machine. I'm not
don't.
a huge fan, but I just think the game would be cool.
I would like no.
Okay, so Walking Dead. We brought a Walking Dead in for Roland.
And we have done that many times
To different people. We kind of surprised them. But everything had to line up perfectly. It's not like we were like, okay, let's search Pinside Marketplace for this game for somebody. It just happened to line up properly. And another thing we've done is our friend James, one of our regular players, prefers Pepsi. Is it Pepsi?
Real sugar
with
Pepsi.
Real sugar.
Yes.
He doesn't want corn syrup. And so we buy...
We go to the grocery store.
Just for him.
Yeah.
And so he can have his Pepsis with real sugar. So we do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. When I guess I was thinking about, I don't really think about it that much. That is completely not true. We do stuff almost every day, specifically for specific people. So
certainly.
Yes. We do all kinds of stuff.
We're going to move on.
Okay.
Unless you...
No, now I'm starting
in the middle of something. Well, are you thinking about all the stuff we do for people?
Like, Jesus.
Keep going with it.
There's a lot.
Right?
Because there's a lot of games. There's places that... Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for Gutterghoul. I think that... Oh, no, he has another one. Food and pinball. How necessary is the service? Do Doritos and Coke work? Or do you need sliders and wings to keep people playing? What's your go-to pinball meal or snack? This can go either way.
Yeah.
There are successful arcades that just offer snacks. A local one we could think of is Starfighters, but it's a little bit different because they have limited hours.
Right.
Basically,
you're not
the
going to be
weekend.
there longer than 4 hours at a time.
And I don't think they would benefit from adding a fryer in the kitchen.
No way.
They would actually, it would probably hurt them because the overhead for a kitchen is just crazy.
Yeah.
Food costs are insane. If you have an arcade that's open 7 days a week, it's a huge benefit to even have something simple like a hot dog roller, like just something where people can get some hot food. Even if it's just chips with the squeezed cheese.
Yeah, I like
you
that.
know, like with the pump.
Yeah.
You know,
The pump cheese.
just something simple like that. And of course, I know you don't mention that here. We're talking about food, but alcohol seems to be very important with pinball. They go hand in hand, like peanut butter and jelly, Laurel and Hardy, and chocolate and peanut butter. Okay, so
Whoa. That
what
was
what is your go-to?
an odd.
What is your go-to pinball meal or snack? What do we like?
Chips. I like chips.
You like chips? Any particular chip?
All chips.
All chips.
Mark always gets me. Mark will do a Chipotle run, and he always gets me chips and guac.
Oh yeah, so.
but I
good.
like, sometimes we go next door to the smoke shop and get some weird
yeah.
Japanese.
The import chips.
Yeah.
They're like $20 a bag. Yeah, but that's we splurge. You can't have that all the time.
Pringles.
Cool. That's it from Gutter Ghoul. Thank you so much for your questions, Gutter Ghoul. We love your continued support. Here we have something from listener Tim. I think you just added this. I haven't even seen. This is going to be the first time I'm reading this. Hello, Rachel and Kale. That's us. We didn't introduce ourselves from the get-go.
Oh, hi.
We've gotten too big. They know we're like Metallica now. They know who we are. They don't.
We're not like Metallica.
This is Rachel.
I'm Rachel.
Kale.
We run Electric Bat.
Tempe, Arizona. Come on out anytime. We're anytime you show up, we'll be open. We might not be there, but we'll be open. This is from listener Tim. I absolutely love your show.
Oh,
Thank you, Tim. It's one of my favorites. I really enjoyed the episode where Big Brother asked numerous questions regarding machine operation. Big Brother is a good friend of mine, and we've been known to embark on pin trips everywhere together when he visits his Pennsylvania estate. Yeah, he has an estate?
I don't think he has an estate.
He needs to take us. Why don't we get to go to the estate?
For a listener, to refresh the listener's minds, Big Brother is the one who works in
The casino business.
casinos. So he's the one who's given us the hot tips about what licensing has gone into slot machines this year that might potentially carry over into pinball machines. So listener Tim is a friend of Big Brother. And
Yep, and then here I go. Okay, they hang out together. They play pinball. They do pin trips. However, there is an element of disunity between us.
Ooh.
You like that? That is severely impacting our friendship. Ooh, so we're gonna sort
We're the
things out.
Dear Abby.
Yeah, we are the pinball Dear Abby. His blindness to the true glory of the pinball machine Rush is difficult to ignore. Can you please help him understand why Rush is truly an amazing game? Our friendship needs healing. Please help. We don't like Rush either, so you guys need to find something else to hang out and talk about.
wow. So you could see if you're watching the YouTube version of this or spot, you can see my face. You might have seen me thinking like, how am I going to put this in a delicate and polite way?
Okay, so let's clear this up. Rush is a cool game that works well. We just don't like playing it.
Because I don't understand the rules and I haven't taken the time to learn it.
Yeah.
There was a short amount of time after we got it where we kind of did learn the rules and remember them.
Right.
And me and you,
We got
like,
into it.
we'll learn a game and then very quickly forget it because we're going through so many other games. Whenever we knew what we were aiming for, we did well and it was very fun and we couldn't wait to go to the arcade and play Rush. And I imagine that's where listener Tim is. And probably Big Brother is where we are, where he has either learned and forgot or hasn't spent the time to learn that rule set and is just, Far Cry multi-ball
Right. So we don't like playing the machine. We love having it in the arcade because it earns.
It earns very well.
Right. There are diehard Rush fans that love dropping quarters and tokens into this thing.
Yeah, yeah. There are, and I think it's a great game for the arcade, and we're not saying it's a bad game, but
we can't save your friendship, but what we can do, from experience, I know some of the best friendships are built on disagreeing on things, and so let's keep with that.
Yeah.
And you both discussing, keep the pinball discussion alive on what you love about Rush and what you hate about Rush, and that's all I can say about that. I don't know, huh? What do you think?
I think that sums it up. All right. I think.
Was that it?
I think we are.
How much time? Oh, we're right at 1 hour.
Yeah.
Could you see that?
Yeah.
And that's why you were like, "Hey, that's our episode." Okay, I'm gonna put down my notes here.
What do we have going on at the bat?
Today is Tuesday, and I'm gonna try my best to edit this. And you think it's weird that I'm pulling out my gigantic chapstick?
Yeah, you're about to wrap up the episode, and like right now, you need to put on chapstick. Cool.
We have pinball tournaments every Tuesday at 6:30 Arizona time. Come on out. Everybody is invited. All skill levels.
All skill levels, and we mean it.
Yeah, come and learn to play with the best pinball players in the nation. Not me.
Or me.
I'm just like kind of hanging out and
hanging around,
trying to beat one or two people here and there. Also, go check out Aimless Pinball on Twitch and watch the recent streams from the Electric Bat Arcade 5-year anniversary bash. That is great. Just if you haven't seen Walt Wood play pinball, this is Walt Wood at his best, and he really does some amazing things, and they have some great commentary.
Just stuff you didn't even know you could do with a pinball machine. He is single-handedly the Harlem Globetrotters of pinball.
He certainly is. But not only is he, what he's doing is amazing, he's talking to the machine as he plays, and it's very entertaining. So check that out. Also, if you want to see Walt play, you go to our YouTube channel. There's a video where he beats Jurassic Park and another one where he rolls BSD, Bram Stoker's Dracula. The holidays are coming up. If you don't know what to get your pinball buddies, head over to electricbatarcade.com. Go to the shop. We have a bunch of cool pinball-centric merch.
We have a couple beanies left.
A couple beanies.
Those are
the pin towels.
Get those fast.
The Electric Bat Arcade blood drip pin towels.
And some lightweight hoodies that you specifically requested, and I love them. They're fantastic.
Good deal. And then other than that, go out to your local pinball arcade and drop some tokens and or quarters or swipe or however they do it.
Shove a little bill in the
support those
slot.
guys. Special thank you to our sponsors, Stern Insider Connected,
Marco Specialties, and Game Room Goodies.
And we are out. The bats are out. We're going to do the special secret bat handshake. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for joining me.
And good luck at the tournament today.
And with you also.
And on to you. The bats are out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will talk to you probably next week.
Yeah, we'll be back on a regular schedule.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.